Welcome to Run With It, BC's only running, fitness, and health show. On this episode, we have coverage of the Vancouver Sun Run, plus we'll have a segment on proper fueling of your body. Also coming up, we have our regular segment, Doctor's Corner. We're going to do a random draw contest where you will have a chance to win a Yum cookbook full of delicious recipes that are plant-based and gluten-free. And we're in conversation with Douglas Dunn, Executive Director from the SOS Children's Run, and we talked to Mandy Wong, Event Manager, about the popular Woman to Warrior Obstacle Course event. But first, let's go to some highlights from this year's Sun Run. Check this out. Congratulations, Eric, on a fine performance. How did you feel out there?
I felt good going in, confident, happy. I knew I could compete with the pretty deep field that was there. Kind of just lied low for the first K, moved up a bit. Feels fantastic to be at the Sun Run, in the sun, with a victory and feeling good.
Number 23 comes up last now qualifies who goes the Olympics for Taunton for that second place as well. Last year's winner, Rispa Kasabra, I believe, who came.
Welcome back. Joining me now is Gloria Sang, who's a dietitian and founder of Nutrition Network Health Castle. Welcome to the show, and we're going to talk about proper fueling your body before and after a workout. And this is very important for runners as well as athletes. So what should a runner eat before, say, we go for that 10K run?
This is a very good question because I got asked all the time, like, what should you eat? When should you eat? And this is very important. And I always say timing is actually more important than actually what you should eat, because it really depends how long and how much duration prior to your training or let's say your run you have. And it really dictates what you should eat. For let's say 2 hours prior a run, you could actually eat a decent sized snack or actually a meal, let's say lunch or breakfast, if you have 2 hours. And if that's the case, you should have some type of protein or some type of fiber. So let's say maybe some nuts or some yogurt that way. But let's say you only have maybe 30 minutes or 5 minutes, you suddenly remember, oh, I forgot to eat. What can I eat? And that's the time you probably want to eat some type of simple carbohydrate. So things like smoothie or a fruit like yogurt. Sorry, I shouldn't say yogurt. It should be banana or kiwi.
So you should have something. But what happens if runners don't want to eat anything? They just can't. What would you suggest?
Now, if that's the case, some people feel that, oh, I can't have any food in my stomach. It makes me feel sick, or it's too much food, I can't run. If that's the case, then plan something immediately right after you eat. The right timing to eat after a workout or a run is 30 minutes to 1 hour. So if you could actually plan something or bring along something to eat right after, just so that you could refuel yourself and to repair the muscle, because oftentimes it's very important to actually eat after than to eat prior to, and because you really need that refueling and to repair the muscle. So protein is very important for a post-workout snack.
Right, and Gloria, what are some, I guess, best food choices for, let's say, training for a marathon?
Very good question. So if we have a long period of time, so let's say 2 hours, oatmeal would be a good choice because it gives you sustained energy. It lasts you more than just the 30 minutes or 1 hour. But if we don't have that, something really quick. So I brought along, for fueling, I brought along some easy to bring material. So banana, so we talked about that. Yogurt is also good because it has carbohydrate as well as protein. Some of the people would love to have a bar in the car because then they could just grab it whenever they want. So if that's the case, look for the bar that at least have 5 grams of protein. Sometimes you actually have some sports bar that have 15 to 20 grams. That would be a bonus for a post-workout. But for a pre-workout, probably not too much protein, but enough carbohydrate to last you through.
You're right, and I see here coffee.
Oh, this is a great question. I got asked all the time because most people train, let's say, for marathon running. They usually train on a weekday in the evening, but on the run day, it's actually in the morning, and they often will say, "Oh, should I drink that coffee in the morning?" Have we all heard about this word diuretic? Coffee being draining of water. In fact, studies have found that this is not true. Coffee is not a diuretic. It would not deplete us of water. The reason why people thought that is because coffee actually make you go to the bathroom a little earlier than what you usually is. So what I often say is maybe we should all time, if you drink a cup of coffee, how much longer do you need to go to the bathroom? So we can plan that on the run day so that we can actually drink that coffee a little bit earlier, visit the bathroom, then start the run. Coffee indeed actually help enhance sports performance. Many elite athletes actually use caffeine as one of the supplements to enhance sports events performance. So if you're a coffee drinker, I would say go for it.
Go for it. Well, what about, like I have coffee, and then I'll replenish with a glass of water. That's a good idea.
It is actually not a bad idea. I would not recommend people who is not a coffee drinker all of a sudden start coffee because they've heard that it enhances sports performance. But if you're a coffee drinker and if you drink it on a specific time of the day, most people have to drink it in the morning. If that's you, I would say continue doing that. Do not change it.
Right, and to sum it all up, like. If you're going to train for an event like the BMO Vancouver Marathon that's coming up and others as well, it's a good idea not to change anything. So if you're used to having oatmeal in the morning, stick to that. Don't stick to changing it.
Absolutely.
Your tummy.
It's absolutely not a good time if you're training for an event. Suddenly change something and try something. If you want to do that, do it in well advance, at least 1 month prior to, so that you can feel what it does to your body. Some people suddenly eat new food, they will have bloating, and bloating certainly is not a good idea when you have to run a 10K.
Right. I want to thank you very much for coming on the show, Gloria. I'd like to have you come back, and we'll be right back after this break. Welcome back. Here with me is Douglas Dunn, Executive Director of the SOS Children's Village BC. He's here to talk about the upcoming 8th annual SOS Children's Run. Welcome, Douglas, to the show.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Yeah, I understand the SOS Children's Village BC is the only one in Canada.
That's right. There's 564 villages around the world. We're the only one in Canada, and we're trying to bring the SOS model that's been successful 65 years now to BC and in a BC context.
So right now you have a run coming up on May 29th,
Yes.
And tell us about that.
The run is not just a run, it's a run, roll, stroll. So it's any capabilities on the Richmond Dike, so it's a smooth, flat surface, half K, 2K, 5K, in any level of skill. But it's about having fun and supporting the kids.
Yes, and how many do you expect this year?
Well, we're hoping to top last year. Over 400 people came out last year. We had the firefighters, we had Van City put in a team, we had iTalk BBM, we had some air cadets. It was a real mixed bag. We had lots of folks out, and it's great. And we're hoping to top that number this year.
And you will. So all levels of abilities, right?
All levels of abilities and handicap friendly.
Now, is there a 10K, 5K?
Yes, there's a 10K. That's an awful long way to go on a Sunday morning. So yes, there's a 10K for those real keeners, but there's a 5K for those who would like to have a good walk. There's a 2K for those with baby carriages, and it's very open. It's not a highly structured event. Everything's in place for those who want to run seriously. But for everybody else, there's lots of levels that they can compete at.
And it's flat?
It's flat.
And it's scenic?
It's scenic. It's along the dike, along the waters. We've had lots of people see salmon and otters and the bald eagles. It's a gorgeous place to be on a Sunday morning, and it's a lot of fun. We're going to have all kinds of stuff going on in the plaza. And we've got a patron this year. I can't imagine who it might be, who I know is going to be having a lot of fun with everybody there too, and giving us all your levels of experience. So I might even try 10K if you give me some coaching lessons.
I will.
Okay, good.
I will, Douglas. What other events are you involved in?
Oh, well, in events coming up this year, we've got two really exciting ones coming up shortly. In June, during Youth and Child in Care Week, we're going to have a doubleheader. On the 7th, which is the Tuesday, we're celebrating our 30th anniversary as an organization here in BC. SOS International is 66 years old. And then on the 9th is what I'm really looking forward to. The Mayor Hepner of Surrey and other dignitaries will be coming out to do ribbon cut and open our transition suites, our first 3 suites built at our village for youth aging out of care.
Wonderful. And Douglas, now what you do, you provide homes for foster children and families, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
On our Surrey campus, we have 2.5 acres. There's 5 homes custom built for foster families, and we've got 3 of the basements are now the transition suites, and we'll be adding 2 more, but hopefully before the end of the year. So we have those 5 families, campus. We've got sports courts, recreational facilities, a village center where we have a dedicated music studio, art therapy. All our therapies are provided there, and we support another 7 homes in the nearby community. So our village is what we call a community integrated village. It consists of the 12 homes, 5 on the site, 7 nearby, plus the suites, and it all creates a very village friendly dynamic.
And tell us a little bit about the SOS Children's Thrift Store.
Oh, the thrift stores, Kerrisdale and Steveston. If you're looking for great deals on all kinds of items, on Steveston on Moncton Street, we have the SOS Thrift Store there. And in Kerrisdale at 2319 West 41st, right in the heart of Kerrisdale, we've got our Kerrisdale Thrift Store. And the greatest compliment we get is people don't realize they're thrift stores. We keep them clean, we keep them tidy, they've got great items, and they provide about 25% of our annual revenue. So we're very non-governmental dependent. We only receive 6% of our entire budget from the government. Everything else we bring in ourselves.
That's wonderful. And one last question. To register, go to
www.sosbc.org.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Douglas, and we'll be right back. Joining me now is Mandy Wong, Event Manager for BC Lion Society and Easter Seals for BC and Yukon. Mandy is here to talk about the Woman to Warrior event, a fun and challenging obstacle race. Welcome to the show, Mandy.
Thank you so much.
And I actually participated in your event last year,
Yes.
and I had a wonderful time. It was fun and challenging. So glad that you could make it today to talk about it. And
Thank you.
Tell us, how many people do you expect this year?
Well, last year we had about 300 participants. We really hope to have more this year. So it's going to be a great event.
And is it like a 5? It is a 5K.
Yes, it
I
is
can
5K.
remember.
No, yeah, totally. It's 5K. It's untimed. It features 12 obstacles throughout the course.
And it's for all levels of abilities.
Yes.
Because I couldn't do every obstacle. I've got to tell you this. So you don't have to do all obstacles, and there's 12.
Nope, not at all. You do have the options to skip an obstacle if you like. The event is meant for women of all fitness types. So.
And you can, I know you can't say what obstacles are there, but you can,
Definitely.
there's walk, crawl,
You
and
can
climb.
expect to climb and crawl and even get a little bit wet and dirty. But yes, I can't tell you what the obstacles are because they're always a surprise to the participants on event day.
Yes, and so this is the only Woman to Warrior event for charity, right?
Yes, it is Vancouver's only all-woman charity obstacle adventure race, and we are in its 4th year.
4th year, wonderful.
year.
It's on May 15th.
Yes.
Concord Stadium.
Exactly.
And tell us about the Easter Seals, like the organization. What benefits do you?
Yeah, definitely. Women to Warrior, the funds raised goes towards sending over 800 kids and young adults with disabilities to one of 3 accessible Easter Seals camps in BC for a week-long memorable camping experience.
And what other events do you have? I know this is the popular fundraiser having the Women to Warrior event.
Yeah, definitely. Women to Warrior is definitely one of my favorite Easter Seals events. We also have an upcoming camp challenge that takes place in Squamish in June, and also our regatta, and also a dropstone event that happens actually just downtown as well in September.
And are you going to participate in this year?
For Women to Warrior, I would be cheering the participants on, and I'll be working the event. And I hope to do the employee lap, the employee wave at the end of the event.
You will, and you will, Mandy. And what do you expect on race day, or event day, I should say?
Yeah, well, like I said, Women to Warrior is one of my favorite Easter Seals events because it's all about female empowerment. It's all women. One of my favorite parts about the event is all the ladies dressing up in different costumes. So you'll be expecting that a Women to Warrior. There'll be different waves for the participants to participate in, and it's going after the wonderful obstacle course they're going to be participating in. There's also going to be a finishers festival at the end, where there's going to be lots of vendors on site, including our presenting sponsor, Subway. They'll be handing out goodies, and there's going to be mimosas. Everyone loves mimosas. And there's going to be a prizing ceremony. We'll be rewarding the top fundraisers and also Team Spirit Awards. And of course, we'll see in the participants, there's going to be Easter Seals camper moms that'll be participating as well.
And what has the feedback been like? I mean, from people, like participants, like myself, I really enjoyed it, and I'm going to go back to doing it.
Definitely. We're very lucky. This event has been very successful. We have a lot of returning participants, so that says something that they want to come back to our event. And most importantly, it's for such an important cause, and we're so happy that every year hundreds of women come together to push themselves outside of their comfort zones, but also fundraise for us as well. And, you know, them pushing out their comfort zones. It's almost like our Easter Seals campers, and they get to push outside their comfort zones and have fun at camp as well.
And you feel good because you're giving back to charity.
Definitely. That's one of the most important things too, right?
That's wonderful, Mandy. And if, how do people register?
They can register on womentowarrior.ca. They can also call our office at 604-873-1865 and ask for me, and I can register for them as well.
So say the date, May 15th.
May 15th, Sunday at Burnaby's Swangard Stadium and Central Park.
Thank you for coming on the show, Mandy, and I'd like to have you come back.
Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome. And now we'll be right back with our contests. And now it's time for our contests. You can win a Yum cookbook full of delicious, gluten-free recipes. The question, name one of the principles of Yum living. The answer can be found on the Yum website. To enter the contest, go to our website at www.runwithit.ca. Good luck.
Did you know that chocolate milk is a great post-workout recovery beverage? Research shows that a beverage containing carbohydrate, protein, and electrolytes, such as that found in chocolate milk, can be more effective at increasing next workout performance than a conventional sports drink.
With me in the studio are two special guests. Dr. Jack Taunton has run 63 marathons, 30 of them in under 2 hours and 30 minutes. He's a renowned sports medicine doctor and a visionary for co-founding British Columbia's first road running club called the Lionsgate Roadrunners. He's also helped start the Vancouver Marathon and the Vancouver Sun Run. Also joining me is former Olympian Lynn Kanuka, who won a bronze medal in the 3,000-meter event at the 1984 LA Olympics. She's also a professional running coach. Welcome to the show, both of you. I'm excited. And
thank you.
Today's topic, we're going to talk about bone density, how important it is to have healthy bones as runners, I guess all athletes.
Well, it's critical. And certainly, you know, for Lynn and I, and as we've seen the volume of runners increase, we always had a concern about the female athlete in terms of their nutritional intake and the mileage. And we knew there was a condition called the female athlete triad now, which is referred to what's called REDS, which is relative energy deficiency. But add that to not eating enough, with all of us that are distance runners are always trying to keep our weight down, which is a detriment. And with that, for the female, if you get into an eating disorder, then your central gland, which controls all of our hormones, thyroid, cortisone, but it controls for the female their ovarian output of estrogen and progesterone. If that drops because of the stress of too much running, not enough energy intake, your bones get thin. So that's osteoporosis, and with that, you get stress fractures. And so we see too many, and Lynn will talk to us about her career and athletes that she works with that are on our national team, and other individuals that are training for the Sun Run, which we've just had, the marathon, which Lynn is obviously very involved in. And it's a delight to see that these events certainly continue. But we really didn't think that men suffered the same thing. And in my career, I suffered 4 pelvic stress fractures. So I'm saying, what is going on here? I see this in women. We're not seeing that much in men. So I went back to my club, Lionsgate, as you talked about, and so I got a group, 20 men that we all ran 90 miles a week.
90
Crazy?
miles a week.
And that was ours. That was the standard running for an elite distance runner, marathoner. And we had done that for 10 years. Took another group, 20 of them, running 10 for 10 years. They ran 50 miles a week, and they raced 10 Ks and half marathon. So as you talk about bone density and how critical that is, and we need to be monitoring that now, just like we would iron and your ferritin. Well, that group, their bone density was fine, and their testosterone was good. My group and our group, our bone density was low, borderline on osteoporotic, and hence the stress fractures, and our testosterone was very low. So there was nothing in the literature about this. So learning from the women, I'm saying, okay, we've got a group of men running 10 Ks at 50 miles a week. Let's drop our mileage from 90 miles a week to 70. And then we'll see what happens to our bone density. Lo and behold, it goes up, and our testosterone goes up.
Interesting, hey?
But the men did not want to run 70 miles a week because they couldn't compete as well. And so I continued, and a lot of these dropped out. And now, unfortunately, I'm in a body brace. I am now got rods that have fused me from the middle of my shoulders to my sacrum. With 24 3-inch screws, I don't want to see this happen to anybody else. And I permanently have no testosterone because it's stress. Stress at running, stress at work. And I'm a great example of that. Now, Lynn can tell us about her
Jack,
career.
you're inspiring in your ability to keep coming back and holding everything together. You know, and we're talking about a few different things here in the sense that young folks competing in the Vancouver Sun Run, the BMO Vancouver Marathon, the high performance athletes that we're talking about, which of course I was one of those. You're invincible when you're in your 20s and early 30s, when you're in your prime as a runner. So you push the envelope in every way. And the trick between coaches and athletes is figuring out the right balance, the right mix to keep you healthy. At the same time, you know, that fine line of teetering on the edge of amazing performance and injury. And in this case, stress fractures is what we're talking about. We try to eat well. We have so many, you know, dietitians and supportive people on our teams to try to keep our athletes healthy. Nevertheless, we do push, and I was one of those. I probably had a stress fracture or two every year. And I did figure out that I couldn't handle those 70, in my case as a 1,500 meter, 3,000 meter runner. I didn't do the marathon mileage, but I still did a lot less sort of pavement running compared to my competitors, and I had to bring in cross-training elements in order to stay
healthy.
healthy.
Lynn was the first literally the first international athlete to pool run.
Yes.
And we know now, and Lynn knows now, in terms of how critical calcium is, and that's 1,200 milligrams of elemental iron just so we can get it in, and 2,000 international units of vitamin D.
I popped mine this morning.
Yeah.
But let's prevent as opposed to, react kind of thing. And what I was going to suggest too is all the runners that I coach currently that are, whether they're off the couch or they've been avid runners for a while, but they're maybe, not high performance in the terms of winning. They're winning for themselves, trying to improve. But these are folks that need to keep that concept of balance in mind and lifestyle and what happens, down the road. Because ultimately we want to take steps towards better health and be healthy and create longevity as opposed to, going over the top and having these difficulties to deal with down the road.
Right.
Well said, and I want to thank you very much for coming on the show. I'd like to have you
was
back.
that it?
It went so quickly. We'll have you back, and thank you. Thanks for watching. If you have a question or comment about today's show, go to our website on the screen. Until next time, run with it.
Run With It is sponsored by Be Well TV, Fortia Sport and Health, Hype Hair, Nowlands Fashion Network, Nike Canada, powered by Chocolate Milk, Skechers Canada, and the Vancouver Sun Run, presented by Blue Shore by